right, good morning. We're gonna start in a seat. So grab a block. You can sit in whatever way is easy and comfortable. And sit up tall, close your eyes. Now take a moment or two to wiggle around on your sit bones and feel them rooting into your block or into the earth. And from that, pressing down, lift the crown of your head up as you feel the spine grow tall and long. Allow your shoulder blades to melt down your back, leaving space to lift through your heart. And with this space and stillness that you find in your body, bring awareness to your breath. And just notice the breath. Notice how it moves in the body, how it moves out of the body. Notice the qualities of your breath, the texture of your breath. Maybe little agitations of the breath. See if you can smooth those out. And gradually start to lengthen out your breath. Feeling a subtle sense of expansion as you breathe in. And then contracting and drawing in as you breathe out. So filling up the lungs completely with every breath that you take in. And emptying the lungs completely empty as you exhale. From this place of breath connection, I invite you to set an intention or maybe an offering for your practice. As you breathe in, allow that intention or offering to fill up every part of your body, through the skin, through the muscle, through the bone, deep into the cells and the space between the cells. When you take your exhale breath, let go of anything that may get in the way of manifesting or cultivating that intention or offering. And one more breath cycle like that, breathing in what you need for your practice. And breathing out anything that you don't need. Inhale, reach your arms above your head. You can blink your eyes open, interlace your fingers, and press your palms towards the ceiling. As you straighten out the arms, draw the shoulder blades down the back. And then reach over to your left, rooting down through your right sit bone. Inhale up to center, and as you exhale, reaching over to the right, rooting down through the left sit bone. Make sure you're not collapsing on the right side, so lift up through the ribs. Breathe space in between the left ribs. And inhale back up to center. Release your hands. If you're sitting on a block, go ahead and get your block out of the way. Come forward to your hands and your knees. You're going to bring your knees right underneath your hips, your hands underneath the shoulders. We'll move through a few easy rounds of cat-cow. As you inhale, lower your belly, lift your heart, lift your gaze, lift the sit bones. As you exhale, round and curl your spine, pull up the belly. Inhale, lower your belly, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Exhale, round and curl in. Take a few more rounds on your own. And feel free to add on any other movements that feel good in your body. A wiggle around, let the breath seep into every space, even the tight spaces. So sometimes circling the hips or circling the shoulders or the head can help to loosen up those muscles. A few more breath cycles here. On your next inhale, come to a neutral spine. And as you exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. And once you have a nice set of your hands and your feet into the mat, start to pedal out your heels. Bend your knees, swing your hips. So again, just move your body in a way that feels really good for you. Still breathing deeply into your body. Full inhales, deep exhales. Walk your hands all the way back to your feet. And you'll take ragdoll at the back of your mat. So keep the feet hip distance or wider. Slide your pinky fingers into opposite elbow creases. Put a generous bend in your knees. Drop your head. Start to sway your upper body side to side. And then swing it front and back a few times. So you feel the heavy dangling from your hips. And drop your arms. Climb your hands forward. Come back to downward facing dog. Bring your feet to touch. Use an inhale to lift your right leg up and back. As you exhale, bend your knee, roll your hip open. So you want to stack right hip on left, reaching your right knee straight up towards the ceiling, and your right heel down towards the left shoulder. On your next inhale, straighten out your legs, square off your hips, and then curl forward, knee to nose. Keep your hips as high as you can. Hug your knee in towards the belly, in towards your nose. Lift your whole body one more inch. Create enough space to step your foot through between your hands. And then drop your left knee to the floor. Reach your arms to the sky. Chandrasana. Let the hips sink. But as you sink into the hips, lift your lower belly up. Snug your abdominal muscles underneath the rib cage. Soften the shoulder blades down. Lift your heart. And then stretch up through the arms, through the fingertips. Take one more breath in. Exhale, hands to your mat. Step back to high plank. So just check in that your feet are hip distance, the hands are right underneath your shoulders. Look forward towards the top of your mat, shift forward, lower all the way down. You can always drop your knees. We'll take 3 rounds of low cobra, point the toes back. As you inhale, loop your shoulders back, lift your heart. Exhale, forehead to the earth. 2 more times, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes under. Press your hips to your heels. So this is a modified version of child's pose. Keep your knees and your feet hip distance. Connect your forehead to the floor. On your inhale, round forward to your hands and your knees. As you exhale, lift back, downward facing dog. Bring your feet to touch. Inhale your left leg up and back. Exhale, bend your knee, roll your hip open. And make sure your head is hanging heavy down. The arms are strong, fingers are spread wide. Inhale, extend your legs straight, square your hips. As you exhale, curl in, knee to nose. Lift as high as you can through the hips. Bring the knee forward, lift your left heel, and then lift your right heel a little bit higher. Create enough space to step through. Drop your back knee down. Reach your arms high, Chandrasana. So as you lift up, drop the shoulders down, stretch the arms straight, look up. So lots of breath to create space in the body. One more inhale. Exhale, hands to your mat. This time stepping forward. Bring your feet hip distance. Take your hands behind your neck. Interlace your fingers. Wrap your elbows around your head and just let the weight of your hands and your arms to create some length in the neck. If it feels good to sway side to side, you can. Okay, drop your arms. Now take your hands to your lower back. Interlace the fingers. Straighten out your arms and then lift halfway up. So put a really deep bend in your knees. Shine the heart forward. Take a breath in. Exhale, fold over your legs. Drop your head down, reach your arms above your head. So keep the interlace. Yes. Start to shift the hips forward. Make sure the legs are strong and active, so you're lifting up through the tops of your thighs, through the kneecaps, through the sit bones. Keep your bind, look over your right shoulder. Reach your arms over to the left. Start to straighten out your right leg. Bend your left knee deeply and lean your weight into your right foot. You'll feel that in the outer part of the right leg. And then slowly change sides. Look over your left shoulder. Arms over to the right. Straighten out the left leg. Lean into your left foot. Come back to center. Release your hands. Keep your feet hip distance. Put a little bend in your knees and inhale, rise to stand. Take the arms out and up. Connect your palms, gaze up. As you exhale, fold forward, coming through the midline. Round your spine and curl into the chest. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen out your spine. Step your right foot to the back of your mat, drop your knee. Inhale your arms high. Chandrasana, one breath in. Exhale, hands to your mat. Step all the way back, downward facing dog. As you inhale, come forward to high plank. You have a couple options. You can lower chaturanga, you can lower to the floor, or you can drop your knees and lower chaturanga. As you inhale, lift to your back bend, cobra or upward facing dog. On your exhale, all the way back, downward facing dog. Take a breath cycle here. Inhale, fill up your lungs. And exhale to empty out. Inhale your right leg up and back. Step all the way through, so use your core strength to step through. Fingertips stay on the floor, lengthen your spine and look forward. As you exhale, step your left foot forward and fold, feet together. Inhale, rise to stand. Take the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward, all the way back down. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen out your spine. Step your left foot back, drop your knee. Inhale your arms high. Exhale, hands to your mat. Step all the way back, downward facing dog. Inhale, round forward, high plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga or to the earth. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. One breath cycle here, inhale. And exhale. Inhale your left leg up and back. Step through to a low lunge. Fingertips stay on the floor. Inhale, lengthen, look forward. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, rise to stand. Sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. We'll take this sequence one more time to warm up the body some more. Lift halfway. Step your right foot back. Drop the knee. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, hands to your mat. Downward facing dog. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Inhale, right leg up and back. Step through to a lunge. Lengthen your spine, look forward. And step forward and fold. Inhale, rise. Big breath in. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Step your left foot back. Drop the knee. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, hands to the earth. Downward facing dog. Inhale, round forward, high plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Upward facing inhale. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Float the left leg up and back. Step through to a lunge. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, rise. And exhale, fold. So we'll start to change up the sequence. Lift halfway up. Step your right foot back. Keep the foot lifted, or keep your knee lifted. Reach your left arm to the sky. So check in with your left knee. Make sure it's stacked over the heel. Once it's stacked, shift your outer left hip back. Push the right hip forward. Draw your belly into your spine and then spin your ribs open towards the ceiling. We'll stay here for 2 more breath cycles. As you inhale, lengthen the spine. On your exhale, deepen your twist. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Warrior 2. Pivot your back heel down. Open your arms all the way up. Check in with the back foot. Make sure it's parallel to the back side of your mat. And as you check in with the front knee, make sure you can see your big toe just on the inside. Sink nice and low. And stretch out through your arms. Spread the fingers. Sink a little deeper into the legs. Traction your feet towards each other. Then staying this low in your legs, flip your palms. Reach forward. On an inhale, reach up, exalted warrior. Exhale to side angle. So the bottom arm is going to stay straight for this version of side angle. reaching your left fingertips towards the second toe. If it feels okay with your neck, shift your gaze up, and then roll your heart open towards the ceiling. Take one more big breath in. As you exhale, rotate your right hand to the floor, your left hand to the sky. So keep the back heel grounded. So revolved side angle, really deep, juicy twist. As much as you can, shift your outer left hip back, pushing the right hip forward. Inhale, send the sternum forward. As you exhale, pull the core in and deepen the twist. Ground your right hand all the way into the floor. Pivot your toes, all 10 of your toes towards the side, towards the left side. Good, now lower your hips, reach your left hand back. As you inhale, lift your hips, reach above your head. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. One more time, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, hold it here. Pick up your left foot and step it back to side plank. Any version of side plank. You can drop your bottom knee. You can lift your top leg or stack your feet. But try shifting the gaze up towards the ceiling. Lift out of your bottom shoulder. Rotate the heart open. Take one more breath in. Exhale, high plank. Shift forward. Lower chaturanga. Upward facing inhale. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Step all the way through to crescent lunge. So check in with your feet, make sure they're hip width as you come up and reach high. Okay, bring your right knee forward so it's stacked over the heel, and then shift your outer right hip back, push the left hip forward. Take an inhale and lift from your waist to your fingertips up, maybe gaze up, and sink a little deeper into the legs. One more breath here, breathe in. Exhale, you're gonna lean forward and slowly launch into warrior three. So stretch your body out as long as you can. The toes extend back, the fingertips reach forward. Nice and slowly transitioning to half moon. Right hand down, left hand high. So if you want to set a block underneath your right fingertips, you can, or right fingertips all the way to the floor. And then from there, maybe hovering the fingertips off the floor. Keep rolling your chest open. Lean the left shoulder back. Then lift your back leg. Take one more breath. Exhale, both hands to the floor, standing split. And we're gonna hold this here just to let the legs open, let the hips open. Drop your head and shake out your head a few times. On your next inhale, lift your leg a little bit higher. And then as you exhale, step your feet together. Make sure the big toe mounds are touching, a little space between your heels. Bend your knees nice and low. Inhale, reach your arms up high. Utkatasana, chair pose. So look down and make sure you can see your toes. So start to shift the knees back and the shins back. So shifting a little more weight into the heels and sit lower into the sit bones. Bring your hands to your heart. Pull your shoulders back. Breathe in. As you exhale, revolve to the right. The left elbow to right knee. And then look down and make sure the toes are still in line. Make sure the knees are still in line. And once you have that set up, rotate your heart towards your hands. Maybe the gaze goes up. You can stay here if this feels like enough for you, or you can open up your arms. Maybe left fingertips to the floor to a block for some leverage. If side crow is in your practice, feel free to take the variation of side crow. Otherwise, stay here and breathe into the twist. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, deepening. One more time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, spin the ribs open and twist. Okay, fold forward. Bring your feet hip distance. Wrap your first two fingers around your big toes. Lift halfway up, so a little bend in your knees. Shine the heart forward. Take a breath in. Exhale, pull down. Then bend your elbows, pull your shoulders away from your ears. So again, leaving space for the neck so you can shake out your head. Release your toes. Bring your feet all the way together. Bend your knees out to the side. Sink your hips to your heels. Then you're going to drop your torso forward between the legs. Send your arms back, palms facing up, and then drop your head. So this is a nice way to open up the legs and the hips to prepare for crow. If you want a little extra here, you can take your hands to your heels and start to pull yourself in a little deeper. And make sure the breath stays full and steady. Okay, bring your hands forward. Set your hands right underneath your shoulders. You're going to keep the shape in your body, the feet together, the knees wide. Lift your hips up. Bend your elbows. So just right here, your knees should be pretty close to the top of the triceps. If they're not, lean forward until you feel the connection of knees to triceps. Look forward, so you're not looking back at your feet. Lean forward into your hands. Lift up just one foot to start. When you feel balance there, then slowly work on lifting the second foot. Once you have both feet off the floor, lift the heels and then round through the upper back. So you feel the belly pull in nice and tight. Take a few breaths here. You can step your feet back to downward facing dog. You can step it back to high plank to low plank and work it from there, or lift the feet a little higher and shoot it back to chaturanga. And then up dog, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Big sigh out your mouth. And one more time like that. Breathe in and sigh it out. Inhale, lift your heels. Bend your knees. Look forward. Walk or hop to the top of your mat. Lift halfway up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Step your left foot back. Keep the knee lifted. Reach your right arm to the sky. So check in with the right knee. Make sure it's stacked over the heel. Once it's stacked, shift your outer right hip back. Okay, power up the back leg. Really strong, really straight. Inhale, lengthen your heart forward. Exhale, pull the belly in deep in your twist. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Warrior two. Pivot your back heel down. Open all the way up. So start with the back foot. Make sure it's at least parallel to the back of your mat or the toes slightly turned in. Look down at your front knee. Make sure you can see your big toe just on the inside of the knee. Come nice and low. And then slide your left ribs back. Good, rotate back. Yeah, stretch out through the arms, spark up the fingers. And flip your palms, reach forward. Reach up, exalted warrior. Stay low in the legs. Exhale down to side angle. So press your arm on the inside of your knee. So you're guiding the knee out, and then reach your fingertips towards your second toe. Gaze up to the ceiling if it's okay with your neck. Keep rotating the heart open. Take another breath here. Rotate your left hand to the floor, right hand to the sky. So the feet stay exactly where they're at. Really juicy twist, really good for the hips. Guide your outer right hip back. Push the left hip forward. Inhale, lengthen the heart forward. Exhale, reach up and twist. Okay, you're going to ground the left hand down. Spin your toes to the right side of your mat. Lower your hips. Reach your right hand back. As you inhale, lift your hips, reach above your head. Exhale, lower your hips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. We'll do one more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Hold it here. Pick up your right foot, step it back, side plank. So again, any version of side plank that you want to work here is fine. Modify by dropping the bottom knee. Intensify by lifting the top leg. Rotate the heart open. Reach high through the top fingertips. One more breath in. Exhale, right hand down, high plank. Lower chaturanga. Upward facing inhale. Downward facing dog as you exhale. Take a breath cycle here. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale out your mouth. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Inhale your left leg up and back. Step all the way through, crescent lunge. So check in with the feet, make sure they're hip width, and then reach all the way up. Bring the left knee forward so it's stacked over the heel. Power up the back leg. Keep pulling in through the belly. As you pull the lower belly up, the tailbone reaches towards the floor, and then the back leg will want to bend a little bit. Keep straightening it out the best you can. Take one more breath in. As you exhale, lean forward and slowly glide, warrior three. This is too much for your lower back, hands to your heart. Square off the hips, inner right thigh rotates up. Keep lengthening through the arms, through the back leg. And slowly transition half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Left hand down, right hand high. As you open the hips here, the tendency is to let the bottom foot toes slide in. Make sure they're straight forward at 12 o'clock. Lean the top shoulder back and then lift your top leg. Take one more breath in. Fill your body up. Exhale, both hands to the earth. Standing split. Drop your head down. Just lift the top leg up. And hold it here for a few moments to let the body open. So steaming your breath into the fibers of your left hamstring. Inhale, send your right leg up higher. Spread the toes. As you exhale, step your feet together. Big toe mounds touch, create a little bit of space in between the heels. Bend your knees deeply, and then reach your arms up, Utkatasana. You sit back into the heels, so toes are light. Squeeze the knees, squeeze the inner thighs, sit a little deeper. Gather your hands together at your heart. Pull the shoulders back. And we'll take the twist to the left. Right elbow to left knee. Look down again and check in with the toes, with the knees. Make sure they're in one line. Sit a little deeper. Send the sit bones back. You can stay here, or you can open up your arms. So matching the variation you took on the first side. Breathing length into the spine and depth into your twist. A few more breath cycles. Inhale. Exhale. The last one, inhale, get longer. Exhale, twist deeper. And then fold forward. You'll toe your feet out hip distance. Slide your hands underneath your feet, palms facing up. Padahastasana. Lift halfway, breathe in. Exhale, pull down. So wrapping your elbows in towards the shins. Lift your shoulders away from your ears. And again, shake out your head. Shake it out no, shake it out yes. Release your hands. Heel toe your feet together. We're going to take a second round of crow. You can come into crow and hold it for 5 breaths, or take it into tripod headstand. If you're working tripod headstand, walk your feet halfway back on your mat so you have space in front of you. Debbie, I'll spot you. You're going to come into tripod. Those of you working tripod headstand, you'll look forward, shift forward, tuck your chin, head comes to the floor. Knees draw into the chest, and then knees to the sky, and feet to the sky. So make sure if you're working this inversion, the shoulders are pulling away from the ears, the legs are squeezing in, active feet, and lots of breath. When you're ready to come down from your inversion, knees come into chest, so you're staying in the strength of your core. Then knees to arms, and then maybe, just maybe, lift the head right back into crow, beautiful. We'll meet in downward facing dog or in child's pose if you need a rest. If you're coming into child's pose, try the embryo version. So knees together, feet together. Reach your arms back so you surrender the shoulders and drop your head. So allowing yourself to settle the breath, to settle the body. And coming back to that intention that you set for your practice and breathing it in. And letting go of whatever has come up for you. Reach your arms forward. Come forward to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Curl in, knee to nose. Hold it here. Shift your right knee towards your left shoulder. Pivot your back heel down. Lift the knee a little bit higher. Good, and then extend your legs straight. Reach your left arm to the sky and roll open. So lift the hips, lift the heart, drop your brain towards the earth. Take one more inhale. Exhale, left hand down, three-legged dog. All the way up and back. Curl again, knee to nose, this time stepping through warrior two. Straighten out your right leg. As you straighten out the leg, lift your left hip up, pull the right hip under, and you're gonna slightly rotate left hip bone down, and then reach forward as far as you can, come all the way down to triangle, Trikonasana. If your fingertips don't quite reach the floor, if you have a block handy, set your hand on your block. And then keep hugging right hip under, and then spin your ribs open. If you lengthen right ribs away from the right hip, that helps to lengthen out the spine. Beautiful, keep rolling open. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, rotate your left hand down. You're gonna frame your right foot. Hop the back foot in enough that you can square the hips and ground the back heel down. So a few bumps back of your right hip. Just feel the hip square off. And then drop your head, drape over your right leg. So lots of breath into the hamstrings, into the hips here. If you have the space, rotate your fingertips towards the back. And then begin to walk your fingertips towards the back of your mat until the arms are straight. You're gonna ground your fingertips, the pads of your fingers, into your mat really strongly. Try not to move your right leg. Start to lift your left heel. Come to the tippy tops of your left toes, hugging your left knee to your chest, and maybe you lift your left foot off the floor. So keep pressing into the fingertips, lift the hips up and back, and then gently release left foot down, straightening out both legs. As you inhale, come all the way up to stand. You're gonna pivot right toes in, and you can lengthen out your stance, widen out the feet. Parallel the feet or bring toes in slightly and heels out. Flip your palms up, lift your heart, look up, breathe in. Exhale, hinge at your hips, come all the way down. Catch your ankles or your big toes and pull yourself in. So if your head is a mile high away from the floor, you can take a wider stance. If your head is super close to the floor and you don't have enough space, take a shorter stance. And then activate your legs, lifting up the tops of your thighs. Start to lean a little more weight into the balls of your feet. Make sure the toes stay light. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. You're gonna pivot back to the front, framing your right foot. Ground the back heel down, so we're squaring off the hips again, so a few bumps back of the right hip. Now grab your block, and you want your block underneath your left fingertips, and the block will either go on the inside or the outside of your right foot. Lift halfway up, take your right hand to your lower back, feel the hips square off. So again, pulling the right hip back. Lift your heart forward so the spine is long, and then reach your right arm up to the sky. Revolved triangle. Send both sit bones straight back. Lengthen your sternum forward, and then get really broad through your collarbones as you open up towards the ceiling. If it feels okay with your neck, shift the gaze up. If the gaze is up, rotate it back down. Slide your block to the top of your mat, so maybe a foot in front of your right foot. You're gonna shift all of your weight into your right foot and lift your left leg, revolved half moon. So if you're worried about squaring the hips, take your right hand back to the sacrum and feel the hips square off again. Send the left leg straight back, the heart forward, and then reach your right arm back up. So inhale to lengthen. Exhale to reach open and twist. One more time like that, inhale, and exhale. Okay, bend your left knee, stay with it. Bend your left knee, reach back. Take your right hand to your left foot. Put a little bend in your standing leg. Rotate your left knee towards the ceiling. Start to kick your left foot into your right hand, and then begin to straighten out your leg as you send the heart forward. This is a reverse version of sugar cane. Take another inhale, kick a little harder, lift the heart forward. And then exhale, gently release. Left foot to the back of your mat. Right foot follows to high plank. Hold high plank for a moment, hug your belly to your spine, and then look forward, shift forward, lower to the floor. Okay, stack your hands, rest your forehead on your hands. So a moment for belly down Shavasana. So again, coming back into your body, into the breath, into that intention that you set. When you're ready to move on, reach your arms back, palms facing down. Take your feet about hip distance. And on an inhale, lift everything. So you'll loop the shoulders back, lift the arms, lift the legs. Rotate your inner thighs up, spread your toes. And spread the fingers, reach them back. Lift your belly off the floor. So even if the ribs and the pelvis are still on the floor, you can hollow out the belly. One more breath. Get a little bit longer. And exhale, release. Bring one ear to the floor. Set your hands by your lower ribs. Tuck your toes under, hips to heels. Modified version of child's pose. Keep the knees and the feet hip distance. Inhale, round forward to your hands and your knees. As you exhale, lift back, downward facing dog. Take an inhale, fill up your lungs. Exhale, sigh out your mouth. Inhale your left leg up and back. Curl forward, knee to nose. Hold it here. Shift your left knee towards your right shoulder. Pivot the back heel down. And then extend your legs straight. Reach your right arm up to the sky. Lift up your heart, lift the hips. Drop your head down. Drop the brain towards the earth. Offer up the heart. One more breath in. Exhale all the way over, three-legged dog. Curl in knee to nose, this time stepping through warrior two. So nice long stance for your warrior two. Straighten out your left leg. Lift the right hip up so you have space to pull the left hip under. Slightly rotate your left hip point down towards the floor. Reach forward as far as you can and then come down to triangle, rotating the right shoulder open. So again, pulling this bottom hip under, lengthening through the spine, rotating the ribs open. So make sure you're pressing your feet and not your toes. Four corners of your feet pressing into the floor. Take one more inhale. Keep opening up the heart. As you exhale, rotate your right hand down. Hop your back foot in. just enough to square off the hips. Bump your left hip back a few times, and then drop your head and drape over your left leg. So steaming breath into the left hamstring. Rotate your fingertips towards the back of your mat, and then walk your fingertips as far back as you can so the arms are straight. Plug the pads of your fingers into your mat. Try not to shift the hips or to shift the left leg. Just start to get light in the right foot. So bending the right knee, coming to the tippy tops of your right toes, hugging your knee to your chest, and maybe lifting right foot off the floor. So lots of weight come into the hands. Keep lifting the sit bones up and back. And gently release. Right foot to the floor, straighten out both legs. Inhale all the way up to stand. Turn your toes in. Take the heels out nice and wide. Flip your palms up, lift your heart, look up. Big breath in. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Come all the way down. So if you have an inversion, a straddle up inversion in your practice, you can take that here, a headstand, a handstand, maybe a forearm balance. If you're gonna stay in the wide-legged forward fold, take your left hand to the floor just in front of your face. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling. So make sure as you find this twist that the right hip isn't lifting up. Keep both of the hip points even with each other. Rotate your right hand down. Reach your left arm up. So again, keeping the hips nice and square. Lengthen the heart forward. Draw your belly in. If you're taking the inversion, slowly release feet to the floor. And both hands to the floor. And you'll walk your hands back to the top of your mat. Frame your left foot again. Hop the back foot in if you need to again square the hips. So left hip back bumps back a few times. Right hand comes to your block on the inside or the outside of your left foot. Take your left hand to your sacrum, so the lower flat part of the low back. Send both sit bones back and feel the hips even with each other. Lift the heart forward and then reach your left arm to the sky. Revolve triangle. So try to keep equal weight on both of your feet. Sometimes that can be hard when the hips start to go out of alignment here. So keep bumping left hip back. Send the heart forward. Okay, slide your block forward, maybe a foot, 10 to 12 inches, and then lean into your left foot, pick up your right leg, revolved half moon. So take the left hand to the lower back again and feel the hips square off. And then reach the left arm back up. Send the heart forward, really long through the spine, really straight through the back leg. Okay, bend your right knee, reach your left hand back, put a little bend in your standing leg, and that gives you leverage to rotate your right knee towards the ceiling. Once it's rotated up, start to kick into your left hand, lift your heart forward. The last thing is to straighten out the standing leg. Lots of breath. Kick a little bit higher, send the heart forward, big breath in. Gently, gently release your foot, right foot to the back of your mat. Left foot follows high plank. Pause in high plank, hug the belly in. Look forward, shift forward, lower to the floor. Stack your hands, rest your forehead on your hands, belly down, Shavasana. Okay, bend your knees, reach back and catch your feet or your ankles from the outside. We're gonna take 2 sets of floor bow Dhanurasana. For the first set, you're gonna kick straight up towards the ceiling. Use your inhale to start your kick. Spread your toes really wide. Allow the shoulders to soften so they open up and back. So lifting the heart forward, kicking straight up towards the ceiling. One more breath here. Exhale, release down. Can let go of your feet, come back to breath. 1 or 2 breath cycles here. For your second round of floor bow, bend your knees. Catch the ankles. You'll flex your feet this time. Draw the knees in towards each other. Instead of kicking up, you're going to kick straight back behind you. So you're going to roll towards the tops of your thighs, back towards your knees. Keep flexing the feet. The gaze goes straight forward. Kick a little harder, straight back, straight back. One more breath in. Exhale, release. Stack your hands, rest your forehead back on your hands, and then bend your knees and wash your feet left and right. Release your feet to the floor, slide your hands back, tuck your toes, hips to heels, modified child's pose. So we're gonna stay here, press into your left hand, thread your right arm under. So you're just gonna sit on the right shoulder. Bring your right ear to the floor, gaze to the left. Reach your right arm forward and change sides. Thread your left arm under. Left ear to the floor, gaze to the right. Let your right shoulder be heavy towards the earth. Reach your left arm forward. Inhale up to your hands and your knees, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Take an inhale through your nose, and an exhale out your mouth. One more time, inhale, and exhale. Walk your feet about 6 inches forward, just to shorten up your stance. We're gonna take a few hops before we make it to the floor. So on your inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees. Look forward. You're gonna hop up knees to chest. So maybe 4 or 5 times, knees to chest. So maybe you get a little hang time in the air, maybe not. When you're ready, find a seat at the top. Something like that. Bring the soles of your feet to the floor about hip distance. Reach your fingertips forward. Scoop your tail under, so really pulling in the lower belly. Slowly, slowly lower all the way down. And once you hit your back, you're gonna set up for bridge. Keep going down. So reach your fingertips towards your heels, and that'll set your feet right underneath your knees. Once you have your feet set, take your arms out to the side, bend your elbows so the backs of your hands are on the floor. Shimmy your shoulder blades towards each other, and then slide them down your back towards your hips. All right, draw your belly right into your spine so you're still in core. Slowly start to lift your hips up. As you lift your hips, lengthen your tail forward so the lower back stays long. Without moving your feet, traction your feet towards your shoulders. That's gonna fire up the hamstrings. Lift all 10 of your toes. Spread them wide. Lift them up, spread them wide. So feel space and air between your toes. Or imagine there's space or air between the toes. One day it'll happen. So 4 corners of your feet, rooting down, lots of breath. The more you feel here, the more you breathe. So you're matching intensity of sensation with intensity of breath. And draw your feet maybe 2 or 3 inches closer towards each other. And then bend your right knee into your chest. Extend your right leg straight up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Reach through the ball of your right foot. Spread the toes. Lift the hips a little bit higher. Keep breathing. Right knee to chest. Right foot to floor. Keep the hips lifted. Bring your left knee into your chest. Extend your left leg straight up towards the ceiling. Reach through the ball of your foot. Yes. Spread your toes. Lift your hips. You want both of your hip points the same height. Keep tractioning your right heel towards your shoulders. Bend your left knee to your chest. Set your left foot to the floor. Keep your hips lifted, right knee to chest. Extend your legs straight. Spread the toes. Lift the hips. Right knee to chest, right foot to floor. Left knee to chest. Extend it straight. Lift your hips. Spread your toes. Left knee to chest. Left foot to floor. Stay here 5 more breaths, or set your hands above your shoulders and come all the way into wheel. 5 breaths. If you're working wheel, same mechanics as being in bridge. You're grounding through your feet. You're tractioning feet towards hands or towards shoulders. Shoulder blades hugging onto the back, leaving space for the heart. Big, full breath cycles. When you've taken 5 breaths, you'll come all the way down to your back and find Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees wide to the side. Close your eyes. Take one hand to your heart, the other to your belly. Let your body rest. Let it settle. And just feel deeply into your body. Feel the sensations that you've stirred up, the energy, the prana in your body that you've stirred up. When we take back bends, it's really igniting energy that we stir up in the body. So feel it here. And as you tap into that, you tap also right back into that intention that you set for your practice, right? That offering. When you're ready to move again, you'll make your way into happy baby, catching either the inside arches or the outside edges of your feet. Stack your feet right on top of your knees. Once you have the feet stacked, pull straight down on your feet. Press your feet into your hands. And then roll your lower back forward and down, the glutes forward and down. Keep your right leg exactly where it's at. Extend your left leg out to the side. And this may mean that you have to let go of your foot. That's okay. Pull straight down on your right foot, and that'll help you stay centered. Bring your left foot back in. Extend your right leg out. So again, pulling straight down to stay centered. Bring your right leg back in. Straddle both legs out. Big, wide straddle. So again, you can let go of your feet, grab anywhere on your legs that feels good. Still let the lower back roll forward and down, so the tail is reaching forward and down. Even more. Yeah. Bring your legs together, straight up towards the ceiling. You have a few options for final inversions. You can take your block, slide it underneath your hips for Viparita Karani, or legs up the wall pose. That's a more restorative option. Other 2 options, you can lift your hips up and over and come into plow. From plow into shoulder stand, legs straight up towards the ceiling. The last option is traditional headstand. If you're setting up traditional headstand, you'll interlace your fingers. Pinky finger that's underneath, tuck it in. Make sure you have some space in the hands, so the hands are not flat, they're not all the way apart. Elbows right underneath the shoulders. You'll set your hands to the floor, your head to the floor. Lift your shoulders, tuck your toes, and walk your feet in. Knees will come into chest first, and then knees to the sky. And last thing to lift is feet to the sky. If you're working the shoulder stand, Make sure you have space in your throat. So you're pressing the back of your head down, lifting up the chin. Headstands will come down into child's pose. Shoulder stands, you'll bring knees to forehead or slide them to your ears. Take a few breaths to let the body rest. And then make your way all the way onto your back. And as you come onto your back, grab your block for a supported fish. So your block, you have two ways to take the block. Option one is to slide it between the shoulder blades along the spine. Option two is to take it wide across the shoulder blades. So you have to feel around and see what feels best in your body underneath your spine. Make sure you have enough space to let your head drop back without the block getting in the way. Once you're there, arms will come out to the side, palms facing up. Just breathe into the opening of your throat, the opening of your heart. We'll take 3 soft lion breaths together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Go ahead and get your block out of the way. And we'll take a reclined pigeon. Start with both knees into your chest. Take your right ankle, cross it over your left knee. And you'll slide your right arm between your legs, interlace your fingers behind your knee. Make sure you're flexing right toes towards the knee. You can use your right elbow, press it into your leg, and guide the knee forward. If you feel your sit bones, your lower back starting to curl up and off the floor, guide your lower back down towards the floor. Try to relax the shoulders, relax your head. Breathe into your hip. If you want to add on intensity here, you can release your left foot to the floor. Take your right arm, wrap it around your knee. Yep. And then left arm around your foot, that way. And if you can't quite get it all the way around, you can take both hands to your foot and interlace your fingers just around the foot. Otherwise, you can get your arm all the way up into the armpit or elbow crease. Yep. And then again, make sure you're still flexing your toes towards the knee. If this feels okay, you can play with extending your left leg straight to the floor. If that feels like too much, you can rebend the knee and set your foot back on the floor. Keep guiding your knee out to the right. Lots of breath into your hip. Okay, gently releasing your foot here. You're going to come back into that half happy baby. So stacking right foot on top of your knee. And then extend your leg out to the right side. So as you start to straighten your leg out to the right, again, if you need to let go of your foot, you can. Grab anywhere on your leg. Make sure the left hip isn't lifting off the floor. Reaching through the heel of your left foot helps to keep this left hip grounded. keep your legs straight, bring it through center and all the way over to the left side. Yeah, anywhere on your leg you can grab and guide your right hip away from your shoulder. So if you need to kind of shimmy yourself onto your left hip a little bit more, go for it. Yep, yep. And you'll feel this a lot in the outer part of your right leg, the IT band. That's where the breath should be. Okay, stay here, just bend your right knee and let yourself go a little deeper into the twist. So the breath is soft. Come back to center and draw both knees into your chest. Give them a good squeeze and neutralize your hips and your spine. And then when you're ready, cross your left ankle on your right knee, coming into your reclined half pigeon. Interlace your fingers behind the right knee. Guide your leg in. Flex your left toes towards the knee, and then again you can use the left elbow to press your knee away from you. And then roll your lower back forward and down, the glutes forward and down. And you'll feel that a little bit deeper into your left hip. Shoulders are soft. And breath is filtering into your left hip. If you took the variation on the other side, release your right foot to the floor. Take your left arm, wrap it around your knee, and your right arm around your foot, interlace your fingers. So again, if that is too much for you, you can just work with fingers interlaced around your foot. Make sure you're flexing your foot towards the knee. And then if you want to play with extending your right leg straight to the floor, you can. If that's too much, again, just bring the foot back to the floor. Keep the knee bent. And notice if you're tensing up your face, if you're tensing up your jaw or the muscles in your forehead. That's where mine ends up being, right in between my eyebrows. See if you can soften the muscles in your face, soften your shoulders. Two more breath cycles, letting the exhale take you just a little bit deeper into your hip. And then come into your half happy baby. Stack your left foot on top of your knee, gently pull it straight down. And then when you're ready, extending your leg out to the left. Grabbing anywhere on your leg that feels good for you if the toes or foot is too intense. Reach through the heel of your right foot. Keep guiding your right hip towards the floor. So that may mean the foot, your left foot and your left leg is higher off the floor. That's okay. Keeping your left leg straight, bring it through center and all the way over to the right for a twist. So if you need to shimmy on the right hip a little more, you can. Extend your right leg pretty straight and then guide your left hip away from your shoulder. So right hand can go anywhere on your right leg. If you have a strap here, a strap around the foot is sometimes really helpful. So breath softens here. And breathing to the outer part of the left leg, the IT band area. Okay, stay here, just bend your left knee, coming a little bit deeper into the twist. Make your way back to center and draw both knees into your chest. Neutralize your spine, your hips. Curl yourself into a little ball. Maybe tuck your forehead up to your knees. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold the breath in. Feel the swirling energy in your lungs. Take a few more sips of air in. And when you can't hold the breath in any longer, your exhale will take you into Shavasana. Extend your legs, extend your arms. Close your eyes. And allow the earth to drink you in. Allow your body to fully surrender. Opening up to receiving your practice, the benefits of your effort. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms above your head, stretch your body. And curl onto your side and draw your knees into your chest. And as you curl into yourself here, cultivate gratitude for this body that you've been given, for this vessel. Gratitude for this practice that allows us to explore these bodies. Gratitude for the breath that brings life and movement. With as little effort as possible, please press up to a comfortable seat. And take your arms out to the side, your palms facing up. And with a slow inhale breath, reach your arms above your head. Gather up all the energy you need for the rest of your day. Connect your palms. And then draw that into your heart center and bow to yourself for showing up, for working on your mat. And then lift your thumbs up to your forehead center, your third eye. Hari Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace. Namaste.